If they meant so much to you and I, why don't they live in our district? They come around and buy all of the food stores in your neighborhood and put all kind of pigs and whiskey and everything in there for you to buy. And you're going to say, this is my brother? Hell no, he's not your brother. Holy Quran says, love for your brother that which you love for yourself. No. Well, like a nephew of mine told me one day, he says, but them the people you got to see. I says, well, I'm a dead duck. Not the people I got to see. I have seen the people I had to see. And they told me to go and teach Islam as long as you can open your mouth and nothing is going to bother you. I taught it in jail, Yaqub's history, while wardens and whatnot walking around trying to get in. I heard many of them say, that's Elijah's brother. Yes, sir. That's John. Yes. Leave him alone. I walked into jail and they had raided the temple and took all our blackboard like that. They took it away. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Carried it down in the courthouse. I was sitting facing the blackboard, and this Sergeant Larco devil, he was a devil, Sergeant Larco, he goes over to the prosecutor attorney and tells him, he says, don't bother with him, whispering in his ears. Allah opened my ears just as though if nothing had never been in my ears in my lifetime, and I could hear his words plainer than he could speak them. So don't fool with him because he's one of the wise. That's Elijah's brother. And the prosecutor said to me, he says, do you know that what you say here, you have to stand for it in court? I said, yes, sir. He said, you can go then. Yes, sir. Then when we fought the battle there in round the jail in Detroit, the devils kept coming and getting me, thinking I was Elijah. And as fast as I would go to the devil and answer the questions that he would ask me, I would go back and tell Elijah what they said. Elijah said, every time you come for your brother, go, I'm in here. If you be with Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, you have no fear. No fear for you, nor shall you grieve. That's Quran. And that's what Master Farad Muhammad said to us in the person. He said, follow me. Follow Elijah Muhammad. Many of you have heard it said that he said to him, you don't need him no more, right? Or you don't need me anymore, Master Farad Muhammad was saying to the messenger. Yes, sir. I was there looking in his mouth what he said. So many of them have crooked up the words. Some said that he stood beside him and patted him on the shoulder. Master Farad didn't pat people on the shoulders. No, sir. He said that's a slave act. Yes, sir. Right, it is. Patting somebody on the shoulder. Right. Let's go, Father, and then stop. Go ahead. Yes, Listen what in this same problem it says that B number 1, the uncle of Mr. W.D. Farad lived in the wilderness of North America. A lot of people have told me, say, yeah, he called you his uncle too, like the white folks did. I said, why did he say uncle? I said, the reason that Master Farad Muhammad called us uncle is because that his father was a black man and his mother was a Caucasian woman, and he fell on the side of his father instead of on the side of his mother. And he let you know that you is my uncle, my father's brother, and I am your nephew, and you is my brother, my uncle, and we are in the same family. Yes, sir. Now tell me how close can you get to a nephew and a niece? If you got a nephew, if you got a niece, the next thing that you can get to is being the father or the mother. Because the blood that brought her or him into the world is the same blood that you have. So now, the closest we can get, we would have to be a father or a mother to this child that is calling me uncle and aunt. Don't know that God visited America in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. B number 1, he is working 16 hours out of 24 hours for a very little pay. He has 8 in his family to support, besides other little bills to meet each month. On top of that, a caveman, a devil came along and sold him an old touring car which travels downhill at the rates of 48 miles per hour. What is that car? That is the nation of Christianity at the time this was written. It is a nation of Christianity traveling down here. Take from 1930 to 1978, she's been going downhill, right? Which meaning 48 miles per hour she's traveling. And now she's traveling real fast. Now he asks the question of saying, what power will the angel have to deliver to the wheels to maintain this downhill speed? When 1 horsepower equals 3,300 pounds. In 1933, she started downhill so fast until we had to check ourselves among them, or we'd have brought it then. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Yes, sir. Written in the problem, and they take the book and they throw it away. People have given me their lessons and their books saying, that's just a lesson. I said, what do you want other than a lesson? When you went to school, what did you get? You got a lesson. Even my nephew, Wallace D. Muhammad, he went against the lessons, saying he undo all of them when he couldn't undo one. I know it. Listen, he gave us facts in our lessons. One of them concerning steel, lead. will not reach the bottom of any ocean any nearer than 4,500 yards. And then it will float. Lead is a powerful piece of metal. It will make a ship stand still. And it won't be on the bottom. But that is not what he's talking about. He's giving you some wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in your head. Saying the knowledge of Islam that I'm giving you is like that lead. You can go anywhere in the country you wanna. You can go and commit anything you wanna. But one day, that lead gonna start floating in your head, which is Islam, and you can't get away from it. You're gonna come on back. People used to read it, didn't know what they were reading. Master Farad Muhammad took me for a little while, about 10 minutes, while we was waiting on the captain in Chicago, and a hotel there on Broad Parkway. It was a hotel there. We were sitting in there, and he said to me, he says, John, says, if student loan, there's 26 letters in the language. I think that's 26, ain't it? 26 letters in the alphabet. Says if a student learn one letter a day, how long will it take him to learn the 26? I call myself slick. Oh yeah, like some of the rest of them. Don't know who I'm talking to. I said to him, I guess I don't know. Better for me to say I don't know. He looked at me, and I felt like a wet dog. He says, take him 26 days, wouldn't it? I said, yes, sir. See, now, you see the slickness in me? I know that it would take 26 days if you learn one a day. But no, I'm going to science up something. See what I'm talking about? He knows what I was doing. I'm going to tell something else to him. But he told me later on in the conversation many things concerning these problems that I read to you and the lessons, all of them. He told me what to do to know them. And I can teach you the same. How to answer all of these. When you get to it, you know it. I can teach you it. That's right. I have asked many ministers that was before Messenger Elijah Muhammad so many questions to them, seeing that how evil-minded they were by the study of these lessons that Master Farad gave us. Like I was sitting to the table with Malcolm X. A lot of people think Malcolm was a great man. He was great before he was left the messenger. Yes, sir. He was a great man. Yes, sir. I admired Malcolm because I met him when he first come into the Temple of Islam in Detroit. Him and his brothers, I met them all. I helped them to get into the nation. Malcolm too, I helped him to get into the nation there. I helped him with the minister there to teach on the rostrum until that he could get great enough to go to the messenger. So he sat to the table full of ministers, and asked the messenger, he said, is it possible that we can say that no one seen Allah but you? The messenger studied a little while. I looked at the messenger, studied a little while, and he looked back at Malcolm. He said, yeah. Later, after Malcolm was gone, he told me, he said, I give him a rope.
Yes, sir.
He said, I give him a rope. He says, you know yourself. If I would hear you say that Master Farad Muhammad was not God and I didn't see Allah, he said, I would put you out of that temple forever.
Yes, sir.
I said, well, I wondered why you said that. I said, but I don't know your mind, but you know mine. So he gave Malcolm the rope. Wasn't long before Malcolm had put the rope around his neck. Then I asked him, I said, brother, I says, what is the meaning of Peter when he walked the water where Jesus was there? He looked at me, he says, brother, don't you never undertake such a thing. He says, that was showing to you and all of the other ministers that when a minister go out thinking that he can do something so great himself, say he'll walk on the water just a little piece, then he'll sink. He'll go down. He said that means the ministers and teachers in Islam that's not trusting in Jesus, not trusting in me. He says they will sink down. He said, course, Peter didn't drown. He said, well, I saved those that I could save from drowning. He said, but a lot of them has drowned along the wayside. Then he tells me about a man that was with him that was a minister in Chicago, that he went and hung himself. Oh yeah, Allah is God, brothers and sisters, and you can play with him if you want to. But I have heard Master Farad Muhammad stand before the congregation of people and tell them, says, I am no spook. He says, don't you play with Islam. It will burn you. And it will. Look how Islam burns the people.
Yes, sir.
Right now, it burns them. Watch them. Just watch them, those that is not taking this step, keeping up with this step that Master Farad Muhammad gave to the messenger. It burns him and he don't know it's burning him. Just like the Quran teaches you there, saying that they have a flame of fire that follows them, but they don't know nothing about it. Only the righteous can see it. And that's true. I look at plenty of them. I don't say that I'm a righteous man. I'll let you say it. I look at plenty of them. How that they walk around and the fire of Allah is on them. Messenger told me, he says, one of the fires that he can put on a man, that he can mess up his mind. He thinks that he's right, and he'll sit back like a child with a bumblebee on a string and play with him with his little finger until he get ready to kill him. That's right. I say to you, brothers and sisters, I don't care who you follow, but don't play with Master Farad Muhammad. Leave him alone. If you don't want him, leave him alone. That's what he said. If you don't want Islam, leave it alone. If you want it and wants to be saved in the days of judgment so that you can see the hereafter, then take it up and keep it. People in Detroit see my temple there. I got it written on the outside of my temple saying Minister John Muhammad's temple, continuing the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Written outside, a great big sign says. A lot of people walk by and say he got his name John on the temple. How come he couldn't say Muhammad's masjid, Muhammad's mosque? Muhammad's temple. That's all right. I was told what I could do. But I wouldn't put Muhammad's mosque or Muhammad masjid on a temple and I'll be a devil. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I'll be a hypocrite there with the name and you thinking that I'm a great man. I ain't gonna do that. So I put John Muhammad on my temple, and then when they asked concerning John on that, they said, why did you put John on your temple? I said, that's all right. I said, my name is Muhammad too. I said, if I put Muhammad's mosque, I said, that's me. I said, Allah named me John Muhammad. My name was not always John Muhammad. He changed my name from one holy name to another. And some of them has picked up on it in Detroit. Don't know why my name was changed to John. My name was Muhammad Sharif. And he wouldn't change it to Sharif Muhammad. To be of the family, the messenger tried to get it to be even to my first slave name. And he wouldn't go for that. He said, no, I wasn't there now when this was happening. The messenger told me. He says, no. He says, I'm going to give him a name, John. I kept that name for the name Muhammad Sharif near 3 years. Do you see any signs? You want me to tell you one of them? When Zacchaeus was praying in the place there, he was dumb for 3 days. He couldn't speak, right? When he did open his mouth, they wanted to know if he would name the child the same thing that the other one, that the wife had. And when he opened his mouth, he said, name him John. And they come back to the house and told him, said, Zacchaeus said, name him John. I want to hip you to something else. I'm the last of your brothers that you will ever see in the wilderness of North America, teaching the teaching as straight as I am, that Muhammad have taught to you all over this country. You won't find another one. All of those old timers is dead. I'm talking about the ones that were in the time of Master Farad Muhammad. But I'm here. It doesn't make any difference. I ain't trying to praise myself. I ain't trying to lift myself up. No. But I just want to let you know that a man has visited you here in this city that not a dog in hell can move his tongue against him. That's what I want to let you know. Some people say, yes, Peter was the right hand of Jesus. Some people in Detroit name themselves Peter. Some of them name themselves Joshua. Some got their name Farad Muhammad. Some saying they is Master Farad Muhammad. I say, if you is Master Farad Muhammad, come and talk with me. Let me ask you just 2 questions. I talk with Master Farad Muhammad every week for more than 2.5 years. I saw him in the messenger's house, ate with him. He have made sandwiches for me himself and give it to me. And that was a sign the messenger told me. He says, that sandwich that he made for you, John, was a sign of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that he has given to you. And he will continue to fill your head the same as he fills your body with food.
Yes, sir.
Huh? No, I don't want to tell you about myself. Let somebody, you find it and tell somebody else. And then come back and ask me. And I'll tell you if you're wrong or right. Brother and sister, you won't find another one coming to you to continue the messenger's teaching like I'm continuing it to you and knows what was taught by the two. You ain't going to find him. You can't find a man today in Detroit or out of Detroit. Remember when the temple in Chicago was set up? Master Farad didn't visit there like he did in Detroit because they put him in jail. When he put him in jail, then he decided to leave and said to the messenger, I'll go now. But you know what? If you can understand what I'm saying, after he says that he'll go now, it's like a young man go into your house, 2 or 3 children or men visiting your house, and you got a young daughter there, and she becomes pregnant, but you don't know which one did it, huh? So it was with Messenger Elijah Muhammad. When Master Farad Muhammad came and he told him when he left, I'll go now, you is pregnant. That's right. And it's written in the Bible, said he saw a woman sitting in the sun, was it? And the moon was at her feet.
Yes, sir.
She had on her head a crown of stars. That wasn't nothing. That was talking about Messenger Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
And while he's sitting there pregnant with you and me to give birth to us, then the people begin to say, who taught you? The same as they ask, what this woman doing sitting in the sun and the moon, which she's got her feet on, is equality, saying that she is now equal to any woman, talking about Elijah Muhammad and Master Farad's mother. Oh yeah. You are now equal. And he was in pain. This woman was in pain to deliver a child, right? Then she flees someplace to deliver this child, and the devil, he spew out a mouthful of water to overtake this woman before the child was born. What was the water? The water was the propaganda of life that the peoples put out of their mouth to destroy Elijah Muhammad before me and you could get the news.
That's right. That's it.
Now we're going to say Elijah was not right, he's no good.
That's them, right.
How can you say that when the man died for you? The people killed him by making him work so much. I talked with his 2 doctors, a devil and a black man, Dr. Williams, and I can't remember this devil's name. He had a funny name. And I talked with them too. My brother Johnny asked him, said, do you think that he will make it? Do you think that he will overcome? The doctors told my brother Johnny and my own present, he says if he do, it will be a miracle. And the messenger was dead at that time, and didn't nobody know it but me. Nobody know it but me. Tynetta didn't know it. You know Tynetta, don't you? She writes in Farrakhan's paper. And I can call her a lie every time she opens her mouth.